Hello, welcome to Dundrell's podcast. I'm your host Justin. I've been getting back into comic books lately. I'm still going to do book reviews at least once a week, but I've been getting back into comic books. We got Free Comic Book Day coming up next month, so I thought, hey, I should look into some trades I want to review on the channel. And we've been talking about Rob Liefeld recently on the channel. And I figured, wouldn't it be fun if we reacted to some Goodreads reviews on some Liefeld trades? Which the first one we're gonna review is the Youngblood, not review. What we're gonna read reviews for are the Youngblood trade paperback, the enhanced edition, which comes with the first 4 issues, which collects the comics from the 1992, which is the original Youngblood run by Image Comics. Apparently, Joe Casey also worked on this. I don't think that's true. I think Joe Casey worked on the relaunch from 2010. That's a mistake by Image. It's not Image. Goodreads. Yeah, there's only 10 reviews, so this shouldn't take long. But according to the stars here, it has 2.61 star rating. 74 people voted on that. Not great. Not great. Q gave this 3 stars out of 5. I like this book. I genuinely do, which greatly surprised me because Youngblood is the brainchild of Rob Liefeld, a highly divisive figure in the comic industry, to say the least. I read 3 other books by Liefeld, which were Supreme Madness, Youngblood, Baptism by Fire, and Extreme Sacrifice, all which are just badly written. So I did some research into why Youngblood was so much better than all the other things Liefeld has offered. And I found my answer. Rob Liefeld didn't write any of the dialogue in this book. The actual writer was Joe Casey. Really? I did not know that. Joe Casey, the creator of American Chavez, who recently was like, told Marvel to stuff it when they offered him $5,000 to go see Doctor Strange 2, because he's like, yeah, Marvel needs to pay its creators more monies. Dumbass, when you create comic book characters for Marvel, you don't own the rights to those characters. Such dumb shit. And apparently the guy worked on, like, the guy's rich, so apparently he was doing it for other creators, but like everybody knows you create stuff for Marvel or DC, you don't own the characters. Go indie. But if you went indie, you wouldn't get your stuff made into movies, most likely. So it's like, whatever. You see, in 2007, Casey was working on the 4th Youngblood series, which was collecting Youngblood Volume 1, Focus Tested, and Youngblood Volume 2, Voted Off the Island, which has Barack Obama in it, apparently. And he's on the cover. I don't know if he's in the book itself. And the comic publisher wanted to reignite interest in Youngblood by releasing the first 5 issues of the original series. There was just one problem with that. The original series was bad, dark, aged, 90s bad, so higher-ups had the bright idea of polishing this rusted-out beater of a series by remastering it. Oh, so they rewrote, so Joe Casey rewrote all the dialogue. That's bullshit. If I'm going to review, if I want to get a trade that collects all the comics from like a series from the 90s, I want the original. Don't fucking change shit up. Oh my god. Series by remastering. All the dialogue was rewritten by Casey. This series was completely recolored. The original 2-in-1 issues were rearranged to form a coherent story, and its introduction was written by Mark Millar. Why the fuck would Mark Millar? Oh, because Mark Millar has wrote a lot of Image comics, like Kick-Ass, Kick-Ass. What was the other? Kick-Ass and a bunch of shit. So Mark Millar probably was told, "Hey, can you do us a favor?" And so he probably pretended to be a fan of Rob Liefeld. The resulting remaster was a surprisingly solid and enjoyable product, because the publisher cut almost all of Liefeld's influence. Ooh, ouch! But on the positive side, this book does prove that Liefeld's idea of a government-operated team of celebrity superheroes could be fun and enjoyable if properly executed. This book is a remaster done right, and I highly recommend it. Rob Liefeld. Hashtag Rob Liefeld. Okay. So this is Italian, so I'm not going to read that review. Matt Petrovsky rated it 3 out of 5. You know, Rob Liefeld, he spelled Rob Liefeld, is vilified within the industry more often than not. But I think he helped revolutionize the industry in the early 90s. There's a lot of good ideas. When you combine those ideas with someone who can actually write, you get something like this. I thought this was a rollicking good redo, much of it due to Joe Casey's phenomenal dialogue. He gave it 3 out of 5. Gary Lee rated 3 out of 5. Rob Liefeld, why oh why am I drawn into your crappy style? His old 90s stuff was not that bad. It's other shit, and he has no redeeming qualities to it. Yet I continue to love it. Just all of your stunted 30 going on 40-year-old fans. Oh my god. Tommy Z rated 1 out of 5. What in the name of all the fucks is this shit? A joke? A self-parody? Has the idiot who drew this garbage ever seen an actual human being? Oh my god. He ripped him a new one. Mark Talmadge rated 1 out of 5. Fans were always drawn to Rob Liefeld because of his debut work on New Mutants and X-Force. Because of that, comic book spectators went wild and convinced comic book companies to dig into alternate covers, gimmick covers, and to treat comic books as a collector's market of sorts. Rob Liefeld simply has no grasp on the anatomy of the human body, which is why he's so chastised by fans, critics, and professionals. The thing is, Rob Liefeld is a no-talent hack. Has there ever been a deadline that he couldn't make? The only thing he does with any consistency is just cover art. The man has burned more bridges than any professional in the industry. The only good thing about Youngblood is that he no longer owns the rights to the very comic book he created. Is that fucking true? Holy fuck. Well, isn't that the whole point of Marvel, Image, is you own your shit? He went running back to Marvel with his tail between his legs, because Marvel is the only company who will hire him back. That's because of recent vitriol remarks aimed at DC Comics, and I think that he has done, and that was done as a jab at Jim Lee, who is much better writer and artist than Rob Liefeld. Artist, yes. Writer, I wouldn't know. I haven't read enough of Jim Lee's original stuff, because most of Jim Lee comics I've read were written by Brennan Choi. Paxton Hawley rated 1 out of 5. Rob Liefeld's Image Comics debut, and it's terrible. There are grains of story here that could be good, and I feel like that's all Joe Casey, but the execution art is just so god awful. I want to cry. Rob Liefeld is the Michael Bay of comics, and that's it. I don't know. This is by Angelo Petrino, rated 1 out of 5. I don't know if that's true. Michael Bay is 100% more successful than Rob Liefeld. And Michael Bay, people shit on Michael Bay, but Michael Bay has done some great fucking movies. Like, come on. Just because you don't like the Transformers movies, grow up. Like, movies like 13 Hours of Benghazi are good. That movie I forgot with The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, and Anthony Mackie. That was a funny. That was one of the. That was in the top 10 funniest movies of the 2010s. The Rock with Nicolas Cage and sorry, I'm brain farting all over the place. Sean Connery was great. Like, come on, man. And the Bad Boys movies are good. Like, come on. Mike rated 4 out of 5. A guilty pleasure for sure. Not a good story, but good dumb fun. I don't know why, but I loved Liefeld's work. I enjoyed the new scripting by Casey, and the colors were amazing. Julian rated 2 out of 5. I should mention he has a Green Lantern profile pic, so obviously he's not a fan of Liefeld, obviously. I like it okay, but why didn't they include issue 0? The artwork is so bad, though. Oh yeah, they should have included issue 0. If anything, Liefeld's art is worse than it was in the 90s. I actually prefer his 90s stuff over his current stuff. Guido rated 2 out of 5. Okay, these are non... Okay, it's just people okay, the rest is just non-dialogue. Just people rating it. Okay, next we're gonna check out the reviews for X-Force Epic Collection Volume 1 Under the Gun. I couldn't find the X-Force Omnibus, which is the one I actually want to get, which collects, I think, the first 19 issues. And this, I saw, like, at Chapters for, like, $70, and I'm like, I almost bought it, but I was like, fuck that, man. I already had, like, $100 worth of stuff that I already picked up, so I wasn't gonna add it, like, you know, another, like, you know, 70. But, like, yeah, I tried to see if that shit was available, and it is for almost twice the fucking price, man. But I really do want to read Rob Liefeld's X-Force. So let's check out some of the reviews and see if this is good. So John rated a 4 out of 5. Butt screaming. What the fuck? This book is the comic equivalent of mixing cans of Kick and Jolt Cola. Everything is totally tubular to the max. It is a book that deserves no stars, but should also receive 1 million. It is the Troll 2 of reading. The stories are overstuffed with terrible ideas and nonsense. Is Cannonball an immortal of some sort? That seems like a good idea for X-Book. There are so many characters involved, and so few have almost nothing to do. Boom Boom is in the book, but I don't remember her contributing more than 90 slang. I don't even know who that is. The villains are mostly bad ideas with an Old Testament name to make the sound ominous. But we can forget that Kroll was also a name that passed the editor. Kroll? Okay. The dialogue is just wonderful. Every character finds the works, comebacks in every fight. We are also treated to such phrases as beef bags and butt screaming. It has all the violence and language of the most extreme PG-13 horror movie, but the icing on the turd flavored 90s cake. ID the art. Robert Liefeld is where Waldo Where's Waldo of incompetence. I laughed every few pages of his work, and it's not just the pouches and giant guns that make it so fun. His inability to draw feet and hide them behind things is good. But the best of all is when he has to draw something being held. It almost looks like it was just drawn in front of a hand. Giant gun, no need for a trigger. The fun drops right out of the book as soon as the artist changed. Not that the replacement was much better. I can't do this book justice. It really has to be experienced. Tiag rated 3 out of 5. X-Force was one of the faces of the 90s. Excessive and juvenile. He spelled juvenile wrong. But also quite entertaining and iconic. A nostalgia trip for me. But I don't think it aged very well. The stories are a bit messy, but the characters are still very fun to read. Shatterstar and Cannibal stole the show, and Boom Boom and Domino are as cool as I remembered. Shatterstar, who Peter David turned gay in his X Factor run from the 2000s, which I heard Rob Liefeld was not very happy about that. Roman Colombo rated 5 stars. This was really intense. Yes, most of Liefeld's art is trash, but thankfully Fabian Nicieza's I hate this writer. Writing makes more than makes up for it. The conflicted team of militant mutants finding their way through various teams of enemies and basically beat the shit out of all of them in brutal fashion. Even though I know most of Cable's story, I'm definitely interested in seeing how it all came to be. I didn't know Fabian wrote this shit. Oh, I read Fabian's Cable and Deadpool Omnibus, and it was fucking terrible. Oh my god. Edward Davies rated 4 out of 5. This was actually better than I remember. And in quotes and parentheses, I haven't read these for about 20 years. The art isn't the best. I'm not a huge fan of Liefeld, but it's a decent read and well worth checking out. Michael Otto rated 5 stars. I read all these stories in their individual titles before collected in this volume. Okay, what was the point of that? I guess he's bragging. Jason Ritter rated 3 out of 5. I forget how rough the 90s were for storytelling. Why did you give it 3 out of 5 then? X-Royd rated 2 out of 5. It was kind of hard to get this finished. Too much 90s comic stuff for me. Slaxy Rewat rated 4 out of 5. Good. Maxi rated 3 out of 5. I don't think I've read Rob Liefeld's comic books before, but the art certainly has its trashy charm. The action's high-packed and plentiful. The dialogues are short and edgy. But what else would you wish from the comics in the 90s, eh? It was very highly reminds me of Stormwatch, except that one has better art by Jim Lee, considering that Image Comics was created next year after the creation of X-Force. It's no wonder a couple of issues are penciled by Greg Capullo, which I haven't seen his earlier art before that. I like it more than his high-definition work of current year, probably due to the coloring. Also, the Wikipedia says the first issue sold 5 million copies. Jeez. Sure, it's fun, but it's not that fun. Okay. Is that the... Okay, that's it for the written reviews. We also have Heroes Reborn. Let's leave it at that. So yeah, that was me reading Goodreads reviews for Youngblood and X-Force Epic Collection. Am I going to pick up Youngblood and X-Force Epic Collection? Oh boy. Well, X-Force, I'll say this, if I can get, well, Youngblood, I already have issue 3, so it would probably be way cheaper to buy the individual issues, but you know what, if I could get the volume they're talking about for like 20 bucks, maybe 25 tops, I'll get it. But X-Force Epic Collection, boy, 112 bucks, no thank you. But if I can get it for like, you know, 60, yeah, I get it. Alright, that's it for this video, guys.